It's important to understand that you don't pour water into a basket and then complain that the basket is not holding the water. And in a bid to have the basket hold the water in so much determination, you build a borehole to pour more water into the basket. Will the basket ever hold the water? No. The current structure we have is such that 77.28% of our budget is recurrent. Yes? 69% of that 77% goes to maintaining the civil service. Yes? So you have a situation where Mr. President says we should borrow 30 billion US dollars, which will reduce our credit rating or our credit worthiness as a country. When your credit rating reduces, your bond yield spreads increases, which means the rate at which you have to borrow money increases, which means that the money you need to service your external debt increases, which means you eat more into your capital expenditure from where they service the external debt, and you won't have money to do any capital projects. So what we have from Mr. President, based on the current economic structure, is an economic team that says we should borrow 30 billion US dollars to use for I don't know what, because based on the medium-term economic framework document I saw, 35 pages. The only sensible thing I saw in that document is a $24 billion infrastructure fund, which I believe the sovereign wealth fund should be able to manage. How do we change things radically? Number one, I suggested in the meeting earlier this month at the National Assembly, we have to change the federal character structure. You have 36 federal ministers in Abuja. And what we have is a nation of people saying that, look, my person must be represented. There must be a minister from Bayelsa. I'm from Bayelsa State. For Christ's sake, I don't see a need for there to be a minister from Bayelsa if you don't have a competent person who can handle the portfolio that is called for. We don't need to politicize or ethnicize technical positions that requires technocrats to manage economic policy or implementation of economic policy in Nigeria. You don't need somebody from Katsina to be a minister if he is not qualified to deliver on the job. We need to reduce the number of federal ministries we have in Nigeria, which will reduce the cost of recurrent expenditure. Yes? We need to change, and this has to do with the cooperation of the executive branch and the National Assembly, which is not working together right now. Yes? We need to change the constitution from federal character structure and totally abolish what we call the Federal Character Commission in Nigeria, which is totally pointless and useless. Yes? To a performance-based model. Why do you need a Ministry of Water Resources? You need a Department of Water Resources. Why do you need a Ministry of Women Affairs? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be gender biased here. Why do you need a Ministry of Niger Delta when you have the Niger Delta Development Commission? Why do you need a Minister of State? I keep asking my folks, I keep asking them, please explain to me what it means to be a Minister of State. I don't understand it. Why do you need a Minister of State when you have a permanent secretary? What's the function of a Minister of State? So you have a system where we're choked by the cost of governance because we have a big government that is non-functional and not effective, gulping all the monies that should go into developing infrastructure, increasing salaries for essential services like soldiers, like doctors, like nurses, like teachers, like buying cars for aides. The PA to the minister rides a Toyota Prado Jeep. The PA to the special advisor rides a Jeep. Cost of governance. So how can you have money to develop the country when the cost of governance is bloated and you're saying we should borrow $30 billion to maintain the same system we have?